Hello, and welcome to Varieties of Slice of Life, a Nutaku Media podcast. As always, I'm Anthony, and joining me today is lovely Zach.
Hello.
And Jarrett.
Salutations, Internet.
We are a bi-monthly podcast talking about games, anime, and a whole bunch of other stuff. Today we're going to be talking about the seventh season, right? Of RWBY.
Volume.
7th volume. It's dumb.
We gotta be different.
Gotta be different. Gonna be kind of a review, recap, and theories and cool tidbits that might pop up here and there for the up-and-coming season, or Volume 8, that should be out really close to the time that you're listening to this. So, me and Jarrett just recently rewatched all of Volume 7 in like one sitting, so it was a lot shorter than I remembered it being.
It definitely felt shorter, but to be fair, the last time I watched Season 7 was coming off the back end of binging 1 through 6 with Zach, so that was a, 3-day adventure, I think?
Also.
So, yeah, this one, putting in it by itself, definitely seemed a lot shorter, but it's still a good couple of hours, at least.
Yeah. It was still good, though. I feel like it definitely was one of the better seasons. It had some really good bits, really good characters, really good twists, and then I feel like the ending was pretty alright, but it's definitely just set up for the next season.
Yeah, but even with that, I at least appreciate the season because it was something different. We've been going on and on and on with just the sad, and at least this one was good into different kind of sad. It was more betrayal, less, just general, everything sucks.
Yeah. Obvious spoiler warning ahead for Volume 7. We're going to be talking about everything. So, advance at your own risk.
Yeah, the good, the bad, a kid getting shot. We cover it all.
So start of the season is them
flying into Atlas.
Yeah, because the end of last season they left whatever town they were in and flew to Atlas. And the season pretty much starts with them being told to land, and then they're like, "No, we can't do that." So they land in what's
in
it?
Mistral?
Is it Mistral?
No, not Mistral.
The
Yes,
place
it is Mistral,
below, yeah, the city below the other city.
The one that's technically Atlas is the kingdom, but it floats, so Mistral is technically actually still part of the continent.
And there's absolutely no class divide whatsoever.
Oh no, totally not. Aside from the several thousand feet in between.
Yeah. It's like that really subtle joke that they made in Kick-Assia, where they're like, "Oh yes, we'll build a round table so we can all see each other equally, and I'll be in a giant rocket chair looking down upon all of you." But I really like the design of the city, though. It's very pretty, very... I like the thing of, like, it's really cold, so they have heaters everywhere that just warm the city.
Yeah, I do like that touch, and I do like the point that the fact that they point out that, I mean, they are the area with like an incredibly large amount of dust, so pretty much everything is just powered by dust. It's something that makes sense that they actually follow through with. So.
And this is also a season where hard light dust gets introduced?
No, that was last season.
Was it? I don't remember that.
Because that entire city was surrounded by a giant hard light net, basically.
Okay.
So.
Yeah.
We just saw it more on a smaller, more personal scale in this one, but.
Yeah. So they arrive down in the city. They meet up with the doctor. I don't remember his name.
Pietro.
Yeah. And he's like, "Oh, hey, my daughter's told me a bunch about you guys. Your Team RWBY." And then you're like, "Oh man, who's his daughter?" And then they subvert.
Fighting Grim ensues.
Yeah. Then Grim show up, and they're like, "Oh no!" And then, lo and behold, subversion of expectation. Penny arrives.
Also, I want to say, Jarrett is my witness. I called that over a year beforehand.
Oh yeah. I mean, she's a robot. She's really difficult for her not to come back.
Yeah, I was like, when they go to Atlas, they're gonna bring Penny back.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Why?
they did.
Which, like I said, at least that makes sense. We learned some more things about her coming back, which is interesting. But it made sense that she was able to come back.
Yeah. They definitely added, like, a threat now to Penny dying instead of it just being, oh, she
Well, she
broke.
can come back. Yeah.
So that's cool. Penny now feels like a little bit more of, like a potential liability upon her death now.
Mm-hmm. Not just, we can fix her up.
Yeah, because no, they can't.
In order to fix her, this man has to die. Because he's giving her his aura to her. So.
Old doctor or robot waifu. The odds have been weighed.
Yeah, and so yeah, he's probably gonna die next season or something along those lines. He's throwing up death flags, unfortunately. Just being like, oh yeah, I have the like. I don't think he's gonna be a power up for Penny considering the end of the season.
You know what? I didn't even think about that until you just now said it. That I think out of all of next season, I think he maybe has some of the lower death flags, but
Yeah, he definitely does. But I'm saying he still has them.
yeah, just like to be honest, I didn't even think that he had death flags until now. So.
Yeah, he's just old, frail, and kind of important, especially to Watts. And if Watts is gonna be busted out by Salem, then there's a chance that Salem's like, "Hey, go get him."
Salem, please, Ironwood's going to bust that man out of prison.
Who, Watts?
Yeah.
Why?
It'll be stupid reasoning, but he'll do it.
Why
He'll
do you?
get desperate.
What? Oh,
He's gonna-
okay.
He's gonna get desperate.
Interesting theory. I can see. Okay, I can see what you're saying because at the end of the, we'll get to that when we get to that. But I can see what you're saying there. That's gonna be interesting. So then Team RWBY pretty much they immediately get captured by the Aesops after this, right?
Yep.
Then we get introduced to like some of the most interesting, but at the same time, like I don't like the design of about half of the characters. Like
Five of them. So
like
do you not
60%.
like 3 or 2?
3.
3. Okay.
I don't know. It's weird because like I like the 2 girls' designs. They're pretty all right. But like dog guy, he's just kind of bland. And then
Yeah.
I forget the fisherman.
Clover.
Clover. I'm horrible with names. Clover's kind of vanilla toast looking.
To me, it's the exact opposite. I like Clover and the dog guy. I don't like the monk. God hate barefoot girl. Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
I hate it.
Yeah, I don't like
design
how
is
dirty
dumb.
her feet are. It's just it makes sense, but it makes me uncomfortable.
Hey yo, Carrie, let's put a foot fetish in our 3D animated
Yo,
anime.
maybe Quentin Tarantino will watch.
I honestly, oh yeah, I was like, I can't remember what the last one looks like. Oh yeah, she's just Tracer, budget Tracer.
She's punching Tracer. Now that is something that I like. Though is they didn't give her like a kicking thing; they gave her a punching thing instead. She doesn't use it a whole lot, but it's nice to see a power that's like, oh, it's a speedster that can kick. It's like, no, it's a speedster that can punch.
Yeah.
I liked, I especially like the dog guy's weapon, like the freaking
Mara.
boomerang gun.
It's so bulky.
I do like Marrow. Personality leaves a little to be desired, but everything else about Marrow I really like.
I mean, he's the John of their group.
Yeah, his semblance is good. His weapon is interesting. His design is good.
I don't see him as being like I can kind of see everyone else as an Aesop. Aside from him, like he seems kind of like the bottom of the group.
Oh, he's definitely like the newest at the very least.
Like
I see where you're going.
because like I could see pretty much everyone holding their own in a fight pretty decently, except for him. I can kind of see him getting his ass handed. I mean, he does get his ass handed to him by Weiss.
I mean, to be fair, he was fighting 2 against 1. He normally has a team with him, and that's what they say. The team is very, very good together.
Yeah.
A lot of them are threats on their own, but
Yeah, that just reminded me of what I hated most about Aesop's was the fact that they were a really, really poorly written foil to Team RWBY.
Yeah. Them
we're really
being,
good, but we're not friends.
Yeah, them not being friends was weird. Like, I can understand all of them not being friends, but none of them not, like, all of them refusing to be friends is really weird to me.
Yeah, they're all, like, you see them in action, you're like, hey, that's pretty cool, and they're all like, yeah, high five, we're so cool, good job, guys. We hate each other.
Especially,
Fuck
like,
you.
I can understand, Harriet, because she's kind of a bitch, but, like, Big Buff Lady seems pretty friendly, so I don't... What's her name? Elm?
Yeah, Elm. I mean, to be fair, there's kind of Atlas. Funky's a weird exception, but a lot of Atlas is cold and distant, so I haven't seen anything the same that the other people are from anywhere else, but Atlas is kind of known for that. That's my only guess as to why they're doing that more. Or getting away with that more, but I don't know. I do like Vine's power, which apparently is his name. I thought the Vine thing was just a nickname, but no, that's his actual name.
Who, the monk?
Yep.
Interesting, okay.
Yeah.
He probably gets the least amount of screen time.
Yeah. His power is interesting, though.
It is. I don't like how they introduce his and Elm's powers, though, because it seems like he's just using his powers.
Yeah, like, 2 of their powers look like exactly the same. It's just, like, the weird, like, glowy limbs.
Oh, I did think that Elm's semblance at first was just part of Vine's.
Yeah, well, because it's the same color, too. That's why I thought that.
Yeah.
And, like, because that scene is very weird, because they're sliding down, like, a hill inside that mine. Mm-hmm. And then he stops himself, she stops herself, but then, like, Team RWBY keeps going, or the rest of Team Juniper or whatever the hell, they keep sliding. So I thought, like, why the hell didn't he stop them? Or, like, I was really confused because it was not shown beforehand that was their semblance.
Maybe trying to show the rushing in forward of youth and the caution of experience. I don't know.
I mean, context clues wise, there should have been slightly more obvious that her power has something to do with her feet, considering she's the only barefoot one, but
yeah,
I don't know. But so they go. So after they get captured by the Aesops, they go to meet Ironwood, who is looking fucking worse for wear. I like the beard on him. I feel like it suits him.
He's only become more dad over time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's achieved 2nd level dad. He's just not an alcoholic. He's 1 step away from becoming ultimate dad.
I worry for your future children.
Yeah.
If that's what your epitome of dad is.
You got cool dad and then you got drunk dad.
Crack open a beer, time to dad. Honey, can you go tuck in the baby? Oh yeah, sure. Let me go pop open a 40.
Yeah, you gotta give them a little sip so they can sleep well, God. So, they meet up. Ironwood pretty much reveals, it's like, hey, I know everything. I revealed to the Aesops, Penny, and Winter that I know everything, so what's going on. And then Ruby's like, haha, yeah, we have this lamp, but we used it all, so it doesn't work. Just straight up lying to Ironwood, which it's weird to me because I was almost like 100% confident they were going to use the lamp this season. So I
don't know. I feel like we got if it's not used in the next 2 seasons, I will be surprised.
it has to be used next season. Like, it has to. And it has to be Where is the Last Maiden. That is the only thing that I can think it can be used for.
Because now Cinder and Neo have it, I believe.
Yeah, Cinder, Neo, and
Well, Neo's not going to be able to use it, but
Penny, but... Or, yeah, Cinder and Neo. Yeah, that's going to be... That was an interesting dynamic, but we'll get to that in a minute as well. We'll get to that story bit. So, we get further on, we find that they're like, hey, yeah, you guys are pretty much welcome here. You train with Team Funky, you know, become huntsmen.
We have a Schnee, or we have an old abandoned Schnee mine that we need to get cleared out so that we can get A, the resources, and B, set up a base there to then launch the old Amity Arena so that it can become a communication satellite.
Which...
They do.
Yeah, it's a very interesting thing. Like, it's about time that somebody finally thought to put up a satellite instead of just having these tangible towers that somebody can just go and tip over.
If you take out one, all of them kind of get fucked.
Yeah, because it's the whole problem of it's like you don't realize how broken something is until one thing breaks, and then you have to repair everything about it.
So I like the thought that they have is like, we'll put it so high up that the Grim can't survive there. It's like, how high is that thing going? Also, do you even know if Grim can't survive up there?
And like, if you have to do maintenance on it, like, do you bring it back down, or...
Like, do you have a crew permanently up there?
Yeah. We're gonna send you in space. Have fun. No, but it's a definitely respectable plan. And then Ironwood's also like, yeah, I'm also gonna tell the world about Salem, which I have mixed feelings about, but I think that was kind of intentional. Where like the plan makes sense. It's like having more public knowledge about this would prep people a bit. But at the same time, it would ensue mass panic.
Yes, which is what he was trying to prepare for. I get his plan. I just don't think he should go that large scale all at once.
Yeah.
Like, I get where he's going for. Like, get it all the way. That's fine. But I think maybe baby steps, like a kingdom at a time, is maybe the best thing for that.
Yeah, he definitely approaches, like, good idea, just bad presentation.
Mm-hmm.
So so he becomes kind of like this weird opposing force. Just opposing force. Because he's not really an antagonist, but he's close enough.
He's a good guy with questionable actions.
Yeah. So they go through the mine. Team RWBY gets like a pseudo upgrade.
New clothes, haircuts.
Well, with outfits and like weapon change modifications, and I'm really trying to think. Did anybody aside from Blake and Yang get an upgrade, like straight up upgrade?
John did.
And John.
Shield.
Because I know Ruby didn't. Weiss didn't. Weiss shouldn't need one, considering she's from here.
Yeah.
But
don't think Nora or Ren got a noticeable one. John, Blake, and Yang are the ones who did get noticeable changes.
I think Ren did, but I don't remember what it is. Did he always have like the grappling thing where you could shoot out the blades?
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah. Then they all got haircuts and outfit changes, and Blake got the standard bisexual haircut.
Sean got spiky.
Sean's now a fuckboy. Yeah, then they fight the giant dust grim, which was a really cool fight, because it's like the cool ghost grim that can like take over inanimate objects. He just takes over dust.
Yeah, I like the geists.
Yeah. And I like the thing that they say is like, oh yes, it's smart, so that means that it's old. Like I like that. I like that's kind of a cool way of telling how old a creature is.
Yeah. I guess that was one of the big things with the mammoths that they had talked about like forever ago.
Yeah. And And that fight ensues. It's nothing terribly special. You find out that Clover's power is, or semblance is, good luck, and Crow's is bad luck. And it's kind of on display when like something almost crushes Clover, but then that thing that almost crushed him like opens up a path to the way that they were supposed to go.
Yeah.
I kind of wish they did that more in this season, where like a bad thing would happen, but then a good outcome would come from that bad thing.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's the ending of that's what I mean, I don't want to talk about it now, obviously, but how much you want to bet that's what it's gonna lead to in the end?
I kind of see what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, alright. So yeah, then they clear out the mines.
Schnee family drama.
Yeah, and then Weiss is like, "Oh no, my dad's here," and then Dad's like, "Oh, you're my daughter," and then he leaves.
Manipulating. Your mother's been drinking again.
Yeah, your mom's drunk again.
So you brought up a really interesting theory that I do want to talk about the Schnees, because there's a scene later where Watson comes over to the Schnee household, and he's like, "Oh yeah, your son looks like frighteningly like you,
Creepily like you.
creepily like you." That's right. And
It's like your son has a striking resemblance. Creepily so.
and then you said something about like cloning, and that like sparked this fucking fire in my head of like, oh my god, they're all clones.
I brought that up because, well, the Schnees have the oddness of their semblance seems to keep getting passed down, even though semblances are more or less supposed to be random.
Mm-hmm. We've never seen a genetic semblance before.
So my like semi crackpot theory is just, well, Jacques seems like the kind of person who would totally be down for cloning people.
And like, it's not totally crazy. Like, 'cause if we find out what Weiss's mom's semblance is, it might lend some like backing to this theory, or just completely negate it in general.
If she even has one.
I don't know. I assume
People
so,
can have
but
aura but not have a semblance. Remember, Jean had to unlock his.
yeah. But I'm saying there's still a chance, though. I'm saying if she does have one and it is the same thing, then it's like, okay, obviously there's some fuckery going on here, because you shouldn't have it, considering you're not you married into the Schnee name, not being one.
Well, Jacques married into the Schnee.
Did he?
Yes. Jacques married into the Schnees.
I didn't know that. I thought he was the first Schnee.
Oh, God, no. No, that's why Weiss hates him so much, is because he's not a Schnee, like a direct Schnee, and he's ruined the company, more or less, in her eyes.
How did I miss this?
Because I don't think you watched any of the Kingdom, the World of Remnant shorts.
Yeah, no, I didn't. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, slight change to the theory, but still stands.
Cloning is still possibly on the table.
Yeah.
That may also explain why Weiss's mom is a drunk, because, man, I would be fucked if someone did that.
Yeah. And because, I mean, yeah, they're siblings, they all look the same, but like,
Wheatley especially looks creepily like
Yeah.
very close to
And I
Jean,
mean,
like too close.
Weiss and Winter
For
look
sure.
almost exactly the same, except for Winter's slightly taller.
Mhm.
So it's one of those things, it's like, it could just be an animation thing, or it could be a legitimate theory. There's no real way of telling directly.
Yeah.
But that's
No, we know.
it's Anthony's crackpot theory for this season.
And you can thank that brought to you by Dr. Watts.
Yeah. So they're going back to the plot. They're hauling shit back to the mines, and they get stopped by Robin. Well, there's a blockade, and it's this woman named Robin Hill.
who's in the election for a council seat of Atlas.
Yeah, which is weird that only one council seat is changing. Because, I mean, the election pretty much just seemed to be between Robin
And Jock.
yeah, but it very clearly wasn't, considering the other people that were there. So I don't know the like logistical
Well, it sounds like they have
politics behind that.
but Ironwood holds 2 seats.
For some reason. I don't know how the hell that... I know how it works, but I don't know why the hell that works.
I think it's because he's military and a schoolmaster, so or the head, or the whatever.
You think they would just be able to say no? But I
was very big on military, so
didn't really care too much for the whole politic thing. Like, it had its place in this season, and it had like the plot relevance. I just didn't care for it.
I mean, they didn't. To be fair, I don't think they spent too much time on it. Like, we dealt more with the characters in the political situation than the political situation itself.
I liked it just because it led to quite possibly my favorite like concept in RWBY, which is that the other time they did it is when in season 3, where they instead of directly influencing the Grimm, they indirectly influence them by causing civil unrest, and that's like that one villain's like whole deal.
Yeah.
It's just like hacking stuff to make civil unrest, and like I just love the idea of just like instead of just summoning Grimm or destroying a wall, they just kind of like, let's just make everybody really angry so the Grimm will come themselves.
As a civilian, I feel like I would have some kind of social obligation to not riot, fully knowing that I could just be murdered. Like, I'm saying, like, if there's a group of people rioting and there's monsters that feed off of bad emotion, you think that they would try not to riot? Because, like, I don't know. Am I crazy there? Like, would that not sway you from doing shit if a giant mammoth came and ate your family?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, logically that makes sense, but
Human nature never surprises me with the stupidity. So.
Yeah. There's also like a Faunus race thing going on that they touch on, but they never really talk about.
Oh, there's always a Faunus race thing, especially in Atlas, which is like the biggest place for Faunus injustice because of the Schnee Dust Company.
Yeah, but I'm saying like, it doesn't really affect the ending of it though. Like, it just kind of is brought up like 2 or 3 times, and then it's not really brought up anymore.
Yeah.
Like I definitely thought that part was underplayed. I thought that would have played a more of a gigantic part of this part, just because like the only thing I really knew about Atlas was the fact that like, oh, they're like Faunus dying in freaking mine camps, and like I was like, why did we see none of that?
Yeah.
Well, I guess with the embargo, we're not going to be seeing as much of that, considering Jacques had to shut down a lot of his stuff because of the embargo that Ironwood put in place.
Because that was like that one chameleon girl's like whole character.
Mm-hmm.
Her whole character, like backstory, was based around that concept, and we saw none of it.
And it could have added some conflict to the inner workings of Team RWBY too, where like let's say Blake and Yang were like, oh, we need to help the Faunus people. They're like super oppressed, and they like I guess they start getting more violent towards it, or they start joining in the protest. But like Ruby and Weiss might be against it because they're like, oh, it's civil unrest.
And Weiss is like, yeah, I agree. This is exactly how the Faunus should be treated.
we're past that, but
she just looks at Blake and spits on the ground. It's like, oh
yeah, we go back to season 1, Weiss.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, I think we got like the majority of our Faunus rights stuff out in season 6 and 5, so
yeah,
definitely 5. So
yeah, we got it all out of the way before it should have been.
yeah. So they won't do anything with that next season, considering the fucking end of the season. But...
considering the circumstances, maybe afterwards.
Also, I got another theory to bring up when we bring up that thing, the big thing. So Robin pretty much introduces her merry maidens, I think.
Merry Huntresses.
Merry
Or Merry
Huntresses.
Band of Huntresses. Merry Band of Huntresses because it's a Robin Hood playoff.
Yeah, I know it's dumb. I like it. I still don't think it's very.
I was gonna say
creative.
weird. You're upset about a pun off of a fairy tale when this entire show is built off of fairy tales.
Yeah, I know. I really like Robin's character. I feel like she's not used anywhere near enough, and I don't think she's going to be used a lot next season either.
I feel like if there's a good outcome, I feel like she'll have more time after that. But
It's just like she has an interesting semblance that could add some sway to certain characters, like
Ironwood and
life, and like she can add a lot to certain events that take place because she could just be like, "Oh yeah, are you lying? Shake my hand right now."
yeah, I mean she won't go outside of Atlas, but at least I don't see her going outside of Atlas and Mistral.
No.
But
That's why I don't know if she'll be there next season because I don't know if they're going to be here next season.
well, they're definitely at the beginning. They're definitely going to be there next season.
Yeah.
Season 8, a lot more questionable, or Volume 9, but
Then we get introduced to some of the merry huntresses.
Huntresses.
We have the sheep girl who has like the weird black hole hand Naruto semblance.
Yeah.
Then we get the one that can like do camouflage stuff, and I don't know if we ever see the third one's ability. But their weapons are, well, the standard weapon that they have is like all over the place. Like it's like a spear, dual-sided crossbow, a staff. I think I saw something else in there too. Like I think it disconnects somewhere.
Robin's is just a wrist-mounted crossbow.
Yeah.
Fan blade thing.
Which she doesn't really use effectively. Like every time she fires it, it kind of gets just tossed away aside from the one time. Yeah, and then she's like, hey, we need this shit in the truck, and they're like, nah. And then they drive away. Then we have the election night after that, where it's like the gang kind of splits up because everyone has to go their own way. Team Funky invited Blake and Yang out to dance, which we didn't see any of that, which I was kind of disappointed in. Although we did have like the political shit going on with RWBY, so it makes a bit more sense why we didn't.
Mm-hmm.
It's just it's fluff that we didn't get that we could have, and that's why I was.
We had the whole drama between Ren and Nora.
Yeah. Oh yeah, then they finally kissed. I forgot about that.
Again, the Volume 4 they also did, but this is post Ren. I don't know how I feel about Ren. I don't think I'm gonna like Ren in next season. I feel like Ren's gonna do something stupid and try and help Ironwood. And I'm scared for that.
I forgot they made him really weird in this season. He just starts acting really weird.
He's kind of all over the place in this season.
Yeah, for the guy whose semblance is about being calm, he's kind of uppity recently.
Yeah, I don't like how gung-ho he is for Ironwood stuff, and I'm just like, what?
I didn't take him as like a respect the authority kind of dude. I mean, I didn't see him as like a fuck the police kind of guy either, but I don't know. Just especially with like the group that he's rolling with, I didn't think that by any means he'd be like, yeah, let's follow the law.
I don't know if it's so much following the law. I think he just sees Ironwood as hope, which
is weird
and dangerous. So
then we had Watts, who he pretty much has been kind of wandering around like hacking shit since the beginning of the season. Like he's just kind of been there as a threat, but we don't know what his plan is yet. And Tyrion is also there, which it's great to see him back. Love Tyrion. He's a fucking crazy psychopath. And so the power goes out during the election, and Tyrion just starts like murdering people left and right.
This is after Watts made a deal with Schnee to more or less, win the election.
Yeah. He's like, yeah, I just need your codes after you win, and then you have the election. And he's like, all right, cool. Or no, he doesn't even want the codes after the election. He wants the codes now, so he'll have them after the election, but he doesn't say that part.
And Jacques being Jacques doesn't even think about.
Yeah, because
This man that's supposed to be dead shows up into my house, offering me the win to an election, just for my codes. It sounds too good to be true. Where's my cake?
And the only things I have control over is the heating grid in my company. Doesn't sound bad at all.
Yeah. The only thing my codes could possibly do is cause the downfall of our entire civilization.
Well, at least the lower one.
I don't care about those lower class citizens.
Like all my employees. Sorry, I meant slaves. I mean employees.
Then Tyrion pretty much attempts to frame all the murders on Penny, but they know that it's a very temporary solution because they can just kind of check Penny's tapes and be like, okay, yeah, she didn't kill anybody.
While also, murdering people who were outspoken against Ironwood.
Yeah.
So putting that pinata up in the foreground.
Also, real quick, I do like Penny's new design quite a bit.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
I still don't know if I like the shorter hair, longer hair better, but I do like her design a lot.
I think I like the longer hair.
I think it's just a bit. It just kind of looks like she has extensions, if that makes sense. Like I kind of wish they would have done something more with the front half of it because the front half's still kind of short. So it just looks too much like her old hair. I don't know. But yeah. So then all that happens. Public outcry starts happening. A bunch of the single moms got murdered, which was sad. Did you have you guys seen that? They did the side-by-side pictures of that.
Yeah. But then later we saw a bunch of those moms still running around. Not to mention the 30 emeralds.
Oh yeah, I saw the picture of all the emeralds.
I love.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I love the theory about how oh yeah, the summer festival thing, people really liked her outfit, so everyone's just copying her.
Yeah, because Coco even said that, hey, I like your outfit.
It's such a dumb excuse. It's very obvious what it is, but it's a great excuse.
I mean, it's better than Shadow People. I'll take that over Shadow People.
Yeah. It's not noticeable too, unless you're paying attention to the background.
No, you really gotta look at the background. I think I only easily noticed one, and that was because it was right before it's a scene change, and they were in the middle of the screen. So
RWBY is very good at keeping your. So in film, you're supposed to, between scene transitions, keep your viewer's eyes on the same point that you want to transition the next scene to. So if somebody has they move their right hand up on the right hand side of the screen, and then the scene cuts and it's something happening on the left side of the screen, that's bad filmmaking. RWBY is really, really good at not doing that. I don't think they've actually done that ever. So I give them props. They are great at keeping your attention.
interesting.
Yeah, so then we have Grim Fight 2? Is that what happens after this?
Post-election. Yeah, it's the beginning of Grim Fight 2. And then it's the party / trial.
Yeah. Grim Fight 2 is not the big one, right?
No, sorry, it's not Grim Fight 2, it's rioting. And then at the end of the party, it's Grim Fight 2 when when the heat goes out.
That's right.
I have to say that the party definitely maybe I've been noticing this a lot, but the party would definitely was super obvious with it. The amount of romantic tension between RWBY and
Oscar.
Oh,
Yeah.
I hate it. Especially because of the end of this season.
Yeah.
Oh. Who says that fuck, was it Ironwood that says like, oh yeah, you two are just like he again brings it up that they're just going to become one person soon.
Yeah, it's like after a while you won't be able to tell the difference. It's like
That is such a fucked thing to say to a child.
yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna lose all your free will. Good luck, kid.
And your memories. Have fun with that. You're just an old dude's pawn.
It makes me so uncomfortable. Like, because Ruby is, fuck, how old is she? 16, 17?
Let me double check the wiki.
Because she's the youngest of the group. Like, everyone else is pretty much an adult, but Ruby's very obviously the youngest of the group.
17 as of volume 6 and 7.
Oh god, and then we have like 4,000-year-old man inside of a 12-year-old body.
Nah, he's not 12. He's
13. Yeah, the romantic tensions in this were it was very odd. Everyone seemed to kind of have their own pairing. Like, Blake and Yang had some flirty moments. The fucking
Ren and Nora.
yeah, Ren and Nora. That's what I was thinking of.
Clover and Crow.
Still mad about Bumblebee. I'll never stop being mad about that. They literally had a whole season building up a ship, and then they like, hey, lesbians.
Yeah.
Like, what? It was like the whole arc where it was just Blake and Sun. They had all these adventures, and it's like,
They better bring that up next season. I swear to God, if they don't, like next time they see
you
them.
gotta think about it. No, I can't wait for the love Pentagon. Now,
I mean, one of them's kind of fallen off, but I can see him coming back.
well, I mean, because there's Sun, there's Ilya,
Yeah.
and then there's also Yang, but Blake is also in there. Oh, I guess it's more of a square.
I was
But
gonna say it's a square pentagon. I was thinking if you're adding Adam, that'd be a pentagon. But I can see Adam coming back. I don't think he will because I think that they purposely wrote him out to be like,
he
okay,
got
he's
stabbed, hit by a bike, and thrown into the river. If he comes back, Salem has undeaded him.
I mean, Salem's done sort of that to Cinder, so I don't see it as impossible.
Cinder wasn't dead though.
Cinder was fucked up though. She got
Yeah.
royally messed up.
Yeah, fucked up. Not stabbed through multiple important organs and then thrown into a river. Also, Oscar is 14.
So yeah, closer than we thought. It's possible.
I hate that.
But, I mean, Cinder fell off that fucking like bridge thing into like a weird cave thing. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like she got it worse than Adam did.
She also did have like superpowers and shit, like more
Yeah.
so than Adam did. So it's
Plausible.
plausible. I don't think that Miles and Carrie and are those the only two writers?
I think they're the main writers.
Yeah, I don't see them bringing him back. I think Monty might have if he was still around, but I don't think that Miles and Carrie are going to.
I think Adam served his purpose.
He did, despite me feeling like he wasn't around for very long.
As soon as they did away with the white, like the main issues of the White Fang, I think his part was done.
Yeah.
I don't know. Depends. Milo and Carrie been watching enough One Piece to have a character survive the most ridiculous situation ever.
We need the single panels of just what he's up to nowadays.
Yeah, just Adam's cover story arc. He opens up a takoyaki restaurant.
He invents this really hard metal, opens up a toy factory, you know. Wow, way off topic. Back to I want to talk about Clover and Crow's weird relationship. Because it was very flirty, but it felt like they were hiding that. Do you know what I mean? Like, it felt like
I don't know if I would say they were hiding it. I just don't think they went anywhere with it.
Well, because it felt very almost like flirting. Like, I didn't feel like there was enough emotion behind either the reaction or the presentation to give off the, like, point of flirtation. Does that make sense?
What I feel is that they needed Crow to have they needed Crow to care about Clover, so like it would you could have this like character changing moment. But like they had a season to do that. They had to rush this like deep connection between these two characters, and I feel like the flirting, like the almost like homoerotic flirting, kind of became a byproduct of that. It was just like, how do we make these two seems like best buds as fast as possible?
Yeah, I feel like there was like no, I don't know how to, like no deep friendship. But how the fuck could you do that in a week?
Yeah.
In lore, and then like a season in our time.
And I do see Clover as a very good foil to Crow.
Mm-hmm.
I like the idea of somebody with a good luck semblance being like, hey, just stop being an alcoholic asshole. And
I am appreciating non-drinking Crow.
yeah, he's trying. And I like the moments where you can see him struggle.
Yeah.
As soon as he goes 100, as soon as he gets 100% sober, that's when he dies. Clover's death, not Clover. Crow's death flags are constantly going up at an astounding rate.
I still think Jill Apocalypse says it best with it's basically just with so many characters, it's just semaphore at this point. Just
yeah, yeah, because Crow is just constantly going up in death flags. It is astonishing how high they go. Yeah, and so that's...
So, as a small question, do you think Crow will kill Tyrion before Crow dies?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think
I would say yes.
probably. I think that might be his final fight. Like, he might get poisoned, and then...
He's gonna die holding Clover.
He's
No,
gonna
I
have
think
his
Crow's death is
fucking,
going to
like,
be
pendant around his necklace or some shit.
Crow has it.
If he holds onto that pendant and like wears it somewhere, I'm gonna say that that was kind of a weird homoerotic thing. If he doesn't, then I'm just gonna be like, okay, they were just bros.
If he just like holds on to it but doesn't wear it.
Yeah.
R/Sappho and her friend. they were just roommates.
I was like, if I had to think of Wild Crest, I feel like Crow's death will be sudden, but it will be after a victory.
It'll definitely be at a notable moment, but it will be a sudden occurrence.
Because I imagine, like, right now as it stands, with the way events have gone, it will be Crow kills Tyrion, giant flying ape rips him in half. Whisper.
It's like, guys, we got the lamp back, yay! Oh, my liver! He just doubles over.
Oh yeah, he's like the demo man from TF2. Where he just runs on alcohol now.
He just drinks water and eats like a good meal, and he just passes out.
Uncle Crow, quick, get him some warm gin. Oh.
Add some tonic to that.
He's gonna make it.
So let's see. So we're at what, the party now?
Yeah. So
because what you want to do when you've rigged an election is throw a party and put the man on trial who could easily A, kill you, B, would most likely be the one to try and figure out, he shouldn't have won. No one likes him. Investigation, and then also bring your opponent in on this as well, just to try and bury that man.
Your opponent that can literally do lie detector shit.
Yeah. You do not do research well, sir. Your ego. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm all one for having Jean get his comeuppance. I hate that man with a passion.
Yeah.
Poor Wheatley, I drag him into the bus too, but that kid nothing good is going to come of that boy. I've given up hope on him.
Wheatley is either going to die or become a villain.
That kid's gonna have a character arc. They're like so close to having like a turn where he's I feel like his whole thing is like, he's a victim to the system.
Yeah, I hope you're right, Zach. I just don't see it. I see that kid becoming a spite magnet.
Spite magnet.
Here's next season. Big Grim shows up. It's like bigger than a building. They're like, what are we gonna do? And then that butler from that one season's gonna show up. He's like, I'm back.
Klein.
Yeah.
I'm back with my multiple personality semblance. Oh no, I've died.
Oh my god, Klein is just the Seven Dwarfs. Why did I just not Oh.
He is, because he has the sleepy one. Oh my god.
Oh.
Oh,
I hate myself for realizing this.
That's like, I guess, a clever way of doing that, but like, what the fuck?
Snow White, the schizophrenic butler.
Fuck.
Oh man.
Alright, yeah, that's the thing.
Oh.
So,
Well done, Zach.
he's not here. I wonder if there was a legitimate reason why he wasn't in this season.
Besides, well, they said they fired him, but I can imagine why when Weiss disappeared.
Yeah.
Weiss has a close relationship with his butler.
But I'm saying we didn't see him at all, so like I wonder if was his voice actor anybody notable? Do you remember?
No, but Weiss literally said, "Hey, where's Klein?" And Wheatley's like, "Oh, he's not employed here anymore."
Yeah, I know that. I was wondering because like if they just didn't want to bring back the voice actor, they could have just wrote that in for that purpose.
I don't think so. Let me double check, but I don't think he was anyone important.
Because I mean, him not being there didn't inhibit the story in any way. It just made Weiss kind of sad.
J. Michael Tantum?
No idea who that is.
I just want to see him with better animation.
Yeah. Just watch RWBY Chibi.
That's right, he isn't Chibi.
He...
That being said, go watch RWBY Chibi. Also, please make more of RWBY Chibi. Please. Though they did just time of recording, they did. No, I won't say that. Don't want to date this.
So yeah, the party kind of goes bad. Was it Watts turns off the heat, and then like during like the trial meeting thing with the town,
the council members.
Council, yeah. Watts like turns off the heat, and somebody comes up to Jock is like, "Hey, yeah, town's fucked."
What do you mean? No, I did not authorize this. We'll turn it back on.
Yeah, and then everyone's like,
yes,
"Hey,
I agree with that. Totally. Yes, what was just said, I agree with all of that.
Hey, you're checked out to lunch, but you brought us here, so like, pay attention." Also, yeah, I do agree that he probably could have waited on the meeting for not his party. Like, you could have done it after, or...
Like, I get he wants Ironwood out, and I know he wants to embarrass him, but...
During the party?
Man, like, your ego's way too big if your immediate thought is, alright, let's get rid of this guy. After I freshly won an election and causing mass riots, I still don't get the point of him knowing that he's going to win that election, why he decided to, like, fire all of his employees beforehand.
Yeah.
Was it just to give it the ruse?
Well, I mean, I think he was saying that he was losing money and he wanted to do that. But if he does that, he was going to lose the election.
Oh, that's right. Oh, yeah. I forgot about that line. Yep.
So, I mean, that's a smart way of doing that. It's like, hey, if I keep you employed, maybe you'll vote for me. I'm going to win anyways. All right, fuck you guys.
Yeah.
And then Watts gets the plans for the satellite.
No, that's after. That's after Ironwood even talks about it, because they keep that heavily encrypted.
No, but he has access to the party because I think he asks about it or something like that. Or he's in the system now.
He's in the system, but Ironwood even says, "Okay, he hasn't made it to the Amity project yet."
Oh, that's right.
That's when they release the video. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. So then they pretty much announce to the world, or no? So then the big Grim invasion happens, right?
That's after they start telling them about Salem.
No, because that happens during Salem. Because they're surrounding Nora, getting ready to beat the shit out of her because she's not rescuing him, and then the thing comes on.
That's right. That's right. Sorry, I forgot. I forgot that the heat going off is what brings the Grim.
Yeah. So then there's more weird flirting between Ruby and Farm Boy.
Sure.
And
Also, one side note, I don't like that they sent Oscar in to be the one to tell Ironwood about the lamp and everything
yeah.
before he makes that announcement. I really would have sent anyone else who was in that one conversation with Nora, because Nora of all people brought up the good point of, well, it said they said to Ozpin couldn't kill her, well, but can someone else?
Yeah, I'm glad that they brought that up.
But with Nora of all people,
Yeah.
I called that also.
he did call it.
Zach, are you a writer of this show?
Yeah, we were watching that like right after we watched that episode, like a day after, like a couple days after it aired. I like said that.
Oh.
Yeah.
See, even nature's like, shit, you right?
Thunder
It's
of
Thunder, it's
approval.
Nora. She knows.
I love Team Thunder dies. I love that Nora tried to get that over. I love it. Screen just picks her up like a cardboard cutout.
I
So,
like. God.
I was gonna say I know we're like long past that. It's cool seeing Funky again. New
Oh,
funky
yeah.
design.
Yeah, with Neon Cat's totally not Jolene attire.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that Carrie's a JoJo fan, but I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Neo's outfit, but it's just like, all right then.
No, it is very much so Jolene. I mean, it might be what Iraqi based Jolene off of, but I doubt that Carrie studies like Gucci and Versace and shit. It's more likely that he's just being a weeb.
Also, hey, we got to see all of Team Funky. We got to see Ivory and Cobalt.
Yeah. Which they had interesting designs, but we didn't get to really see them that well.
No, we got to see Cobalt get turned into a sandwich.
That was weird. That was just a weird scene.
I do have to say, through all this, I do love that Team RWBY still sticks with the visual gags. I like that they still have those anime moments.
But yeah, I'm glad that Funky's back. I'm sad we didn't get to see him like maybe during the fight with the Big Grim. Like maybe they were helping get people out.
Or we might next season.
You're right. We still have a chance. I'm hoping.
It didn't sound like they sent out the students yet.
Maybe they'll actually finally name Flint Cole's weapon, and it doesn't have to be called Trumpet Weapon on the wiki.
Is it still?
Yeah. I recently, like not too long ago, the
It is.
H-Bomber guy video came out about RWBY, and like he pointed out the fact that they never named Flint Cole's weapon, so it's just called Trumpet.
I'm looking at it right now. It is.
I've been rewatching.
His semblance has a name though. It has its own custom name.
I've been rewatching the Rooster Teeth Minecraft Let's Play, and I just got to the episode where they were talking about Flint Cole for the first time.
Oh yeah.
Little do they know the legend was about to be born.
Because he's at least two characters in two different shows.
Mm-hmm.
He's in X-Ray and Vav. May that show rest in peace. And in RWBY.
My favorite is they bring up the fact like, oh, that'd be a cool like detective name, and then Michael immediately goes, yeah, but he's got to be black. And now they've stuck with that design apparently permanently. So.
Yeah. Also, can I say that I feel like Flint Cole has a really good semblance
Yeah.
with the Killer Quartet?
It's a
I think
cool
is pretty
name.
handy.
It's a cool name, and it's a cool thing to do with like a musical weapon.
Ooh, I wonder, because like each clone has a different color. I wonder if he's using dust to change those, or if it's just a thing.
Can he do more than 4?
It's a good question. Though. We've only ever seen 4, and Quartet's in the name, so I feel like no.
Maybe he'll train to be really good and have a 5th man.
Oh man, I gotta rename my semblance.
Alright, Team Funky's canceled until I can come up with a new name.
We have a gig next Saturday.
So then we have like the big Grim fight. It's just Team RWBY fighting Grim. It's a good fight scene. Nothing too special, but pretty good.
Excuse me, we saw Elm literally heft a mammoth into the air and punch it to death.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, no, your rocket launcher
I was
did.
gonna say Yang punched
But
it
still.
and did her Killer Queen bomb. Which I like that Yang's new upgrade. It's kind of a cool thing. Like she just punches and then she could just detonate them.
Yeah.
I really. Oh, fuck, was it that fight? Or was it. No, it was the fight against Aesops where the ground is broken up and then Yang picks up like a piece of rock, loads it with a bunch of explosives, then punches it at
Oh, Vine.
Vine. And then you're like, oh, okay, the explosives are, she's gonna set it off. But I think Blake like kicks it or something at some point.
Yeah.
And then that doesn't happen. Then Blake like comes up, charges, he swipes at her, and then she does like a concrete double, and that concrete double has all the explosives in it.
Mm-hmm.
It was just kind of a cool like fight
Oh,
bit.
The Aesop's fight, I think, is a really good fight.
Yeah. Oh, that hasn't happened yet, actually. My bad.
No, that has to happen. What was the fight that you said that was... Oh, I remember which fight you said was the best fight.
Yeah, it's coming up. So
It's
fucking
coming
hyped
up.
about it. Best fight and, in my opinion, best song. But Ironwood and Robin pretty much come on screen and they're like, hey, this is what's going on with Salem and everything. And Robin's semblance is showing that he's telling the truth. And then it cuts to a close-up of his face, and it's like, we also have this tower, and it's finished, and we're about to send it in space. But you can't see Robin's hand if he's telling the truth. It's just kind of implied.
Yeah.
You pointed that out, and it was some really good editing.
Oh, no, you pointed that out to me. For like the first time we watched it.
Did I point that out?
Yes, you did.
Okay, I'll take. I
I
pointed
just
that
brought
out.
it up. I just brought it up with us watching again.
Yeah. But it was very clever editing because it's just like he was lying, but the way that they presented it, it made it seem like he wasn't lying.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's like, yeah, I guess there's no better time to reveal that there's a giant evil lady, aside from, when everyone's already panicking.
Yeah. Can't make it any worse.
Anyway, so the Grim fight's happening. Ironwood is pretty much announced to all of the city and Atlas and all that hey, Salem's real. This is our plan. We will beat her. And then everyone's kind of like, okay, we're still getting attacked by monsters. Then Watts pretty much takes Ironwood's bait and goes to the Amity Coliseum.
Oh, I'm an idiot. The Undercity is actually Mantle, not Mistral. Mistral's the other place.
Okay, yeah, that makes
I've
sense.
been saying it wrong for so long. I should have fact checked myself earlier. So it's every time I was saying Mistral, just cut that in with Mantle.
We'll see. We'll see how much editing I actually have to do. Yeah, and so then after this, Watson heads to Amity Coliseum. He gets up there somehow. And Ironwood is pretty much there waiting for him. And he does like that villain thing where like they're in the booth with the announcer and they're like, hey, glad you could join me. Then probably one of my favorite fights in the entire series so far breaks out.
Definitely a top fight with a top song too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think they would, like. I didn't think they like the mech fight from the last season was like my favorite, and then they topped that. So
Yeah.
I imagine they can only go up from here.
Yeah, they're so far they're doing better every season, which is great because they always have the one really good fight every season. And it's such a good it's so weird because it's such a good and simple fight, and then the music backing it is so like just heavy and like manly, but not in the like, I guess masculine would be a better way of saying it. It's very like, it's two bros fighting it out, you know, and edge of the world kind of bullshit.
Two bros fighting 5 feet apart because they're not gay.
But yeah, so my only gripe with that fight is the fact that Watson is counting out loud about how many bullets he has left in his gun. Because yeah, he has a fuck ton, but like, you think you could just mentally keep track?
Yeah. God, his gun was so ridiculous, but I love it.
Yeah.
Also, we finally got to see Ironwood's second gun, which is a gravity dust gun.
Yeah, it allows him to
angry
like rocket himself forward.
I mean, good thing he brought the right gun for the right fight, apparently. But
The arena that Watts like brought up, because Watts like hacked the arena to just kind of do what he wants, was so fucking cool because it had like that Pokemon black and white thing going on where like the walls became like, you know, the floor and you could just walk on almost any surface.
yeah.
But Watts would just like activate and deactivate them at will, and that was so fucking cool. Because it really felt like Ironwood had like a disadvantage, but he was still trying to overcome it. Because it was definitely a brains versus bronze kind of situation, because Ironwood is definitely the stronger of the two, but Watts has the mental and like mechanical advantage.
Yeah.
So that was cool.
It is a fight that we do get to see, along with some bits from Jean, is of more of the hard light dust coming into the fight, which was a good use. I liked it.
There were some kind of questionable uses, like when he was making stairs as he was running away from Ironwood.
Yeah. Kept him on just long enough to keep him in the fight.
Yeah. I mean, this potentially adds some really cool future things where someone can, like, project a shield a distance away from them. Like, it doesn't have to be near them, yeah. Oh, and before Ironwood goes, he pretty much declares martial law and tells Team RWBY, like...
No.
Oh, no, that's after. I forgot. My
That's
bad.
after.
I'm for some reason, like, a lot of things happen right around the same time, so everything is kind of kerfuffled.
A lot of important things do happen at the same time, so...
My bad. So yeah, and then, so I do want to talk about the soundtrack a little bit. They finally branched out from somebody other than Casey.
She's do more than just a feature. They got their own song.
Yeah. Which is really
Caleb,
nice.
I unfortunately don't know how to pronounce his last name correctly, but Caleb did a fantastic job with Hero.
That's why I liked the song in the Ironwood fight so much, because it wasn't Casey. I'm so sick of her voice at this point. Like, I don't hate her as a person, I just am tired of her singing.
Yeah, and it's 7 seasons worth of the same singer, which I feel like, yes, she should have her place in the series singing-wise, but I don't feel like she should be doing every opening and ending.
She also doesn't have much of a range.
Yeah. I'm hoping that this is them testing the waters to see, like, you know, how next... I mean, I can't say that, though, because they just fucking recently released the 7th season album, despite it being out for so long. So, I don't know, maybe they'll take something into account, maybe they won't, I have no idea. But, so yeah, that fight was great. It pretty much ends with both of them being out of bullets. And so Watts pulls like a sneaky and uses hard light to catch Ironwood's good arm in a hard light field.
I wouldn't do that unless you want more metal on that body of yours. Oh my god, you're ripping your arm out of that. That's disgusting.
Yeah, he's literally burning his arm, like, all of the flesh off of it just to fucking get him.
He just fucking grabs him, drags him across the ground, and just holds him over a freaking cliff.
That is a determined man right there. That is somebody who will go to the ends of the earth to get what he wants.
Yeah, that's why Hero's lyrics ring way too true, and man, that's why Ironwood scares me.
Yeah. And so this is...
'Cause
Go ahead.
he's way too determined if he becomes evil, or much more of a villain, or keeps on this desperate
Yeah.
path.
This is definitely kind of the point where he teeters a bit into being almost villain territory. Like, not quite, like, not this part in particular, but this is kind of like the first sign of, like, okay, he's a bit too motivated.
I can be your ankle or your temple.
Oh, I think the moment that Oscar told him everything that they didn't tell him before, I think was a moment that, oh, yeah, no, he's totally gonna do something desperate.
Also, when this was airing, because it just cuts after this, after, like, it's Ironwood holding Watts over the cliff, it just cuts. And so, I mean, it goes on to, like, a couple more scenes, but you don't figure out what happens to Watts until, like, the last scene of the season, so it was, like, this weird ambiguous thing, like, did Ironwood kill him?
Off screen? Yeah.
Spoiler, he didn't, but... Yeah, and then they pretty much... He calls Team RWBY to his office after this, right?
Yep.
And then at this point, Crow and Robin fight...
And Clover.
And Clover. They fight Tyrion, right?
Yeah, because Ron was like, oh yeah, and for you all in Sector 17, I'll be going there personally to help evacuate you.
Ah, that's right. And then that was the bait for Tyrion.
Yeah.
And that was a good fight, Tyrion being the fucking psychopath that he is.
I like that they purposely had Crow keep... he played at a distance from the other two.
Yeah.
Purposely try to keep them... Or keep him and Tyrion, like, away so that Clover with his rod, or with his reel, and the Robin with her arrows could just be back. I love the end of that fight, though. The end of that fight's funny.
What, she shoots the explosive arrow and he catches it in his mouth.
Ah! Oh! Yeah.
I like that she counted on him being cocky as his downfall. Which, that is always a great way of defeating somebody, is them just being cocky.
I still have to say, one of the best things in these fight scenes, especially with Tyrion, is just, I love the way that they make Tyrion move. It's freaky and unnerving, and I love it.
It's very
so
spontaneous. Yeah. And he uses his tail a lot for mobility, not just attacking, and that's really well done.
Right, he's probably the best used, like...
Faunus.
Yeah, best used Faunus, best used Faunus appendage yet that we've seen. Like, granted, old Blake has his cat ears, but...
You fool, you cut off my scorpion tail, it's only made me more strong.
It's metal! Oh,
Oh god, he's worse.
oh man. Oh, it's filled with a much more lethal poison. Okay, running.
So yeah,
Next,
then...
just get cut off with lower legs, he's just getting a freaking scorpion bottom.
So then, pretty much everyone's flying back. Well, those four are flying back in a jet while RWBY is having a meeting. Team RWBY is having a meeting with Ironwood. And it's pretty much Ironwood's like, yeah, I'm declaring martial law. You guys are under arrest for lying to me. I can't trust you, obviously, blah, blah, blah. Which makes sense, but it is his paranoid side showing a bit more.
Yeah, I mean, there is a bit more to that, but yeah, I mean, basic gist.
And then the Aesops were there. Then they have their fight.
I think that scene in the office is definitely like the scene where I realized, like, oh, he's lost it.
Yeah.
Because does he looks insane when they walk into the office? Like he's like a psychopath in that scene.
Oh yeah, isn't
he did
Cinder's
have
pawn there too?
The Salem's.
There's-
Oh yeah, that because Salem and Neo broke into the academy to get the lamp.
Oh
Well, I
god,
guess
we haven't
Neo
even talked
did.
about the Winter's Maiden yet.
Yeah, I wish they introduced earlier on.
She's in this, and she's a very old woman that's pretty much ready to die, and Winter
Yeah.
is the only person allowed to like
her.
see her, so that way when she does pass, it goes to winter. Which makes sense. The only thing that so pretty much like during that scene in the office, Ironwood's like, yeah, I sent Winter to retrieve the maiden's power. For some reason, despite me have seen the machine in her room before, I thought, oh shit, Winter's just gonna go murder an old woman.
Jesus, man.
Unfortunately,
Sorry.
Ruby's not that dark. Like, they don't go that hard in some shit, but...
Goodbye, Mr. Spider. Sorry. The spider literally just floated his way in front of my face. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gross.
So...
Yeah, you took that way too dark, way too fast, considering the machine was in the room.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's still pretty dark, because it's essentially the same thing, except for her soul is just being put into Winter. I wonder if Winter's going to get more independent or, like, resilient towards Ironwood in the next season, considering everything going on.
Oh, she's sticking by him.
Yeah.
Are you mad, man?
I wonder if there's something he's going to do that's going to push her over the edge, like something to hurt Weiss.
Yeah, up until then, no, she's definitely staying with Ironwood. Yeah, but back to that. Yeah, no, so Neo's in the school, leaves the chess piece. Ruby's like, that's Cinder's work, not Salem's. But he's like, nonetheless, they're still connected. And then all the anger and hostility of him basically declaring martial law sends out the Grim that was in Watts' bag, which he brought with him.
Yeah.
Curious choice. And not looking in it, curious choice. Which then, brings in big bad Phantom or a Salem.
And then Salem, like, talks about Ruby's mom, which was...
Yeah, mentally breaks Ruby.
Yeah, it was kind of weird. And then you brought up the point that we've never seen her body or, like, an actual burial site, because there was the grave, but it was at the edge of a cliff, so the body's probably not in there.
Yeah, because I brought this up because Ruby talks to Crow, like, when they get their huntsman licenses. And she talks about if the mission that her mom died on was an Ozpin mission. Crow's like, nope, that was one that your mom did on her own. We still don't know what happened.
So, like, what if her mom is the last maiden? I know we brought this up last time, too, but...
That would put her being the...
Yes, the summer maiden. No,
Spring.
I thought Spring Maiden was Cinder. No, Cinder's fault. My bad.
Yeah, Cinder's fault. Yeah, remember.
So,
the name is so incredibly on point that it totally isn't made up.
And so Raven is the Winter Maiden? No, Raven is the... She has to be a Summer Maiden. Okay. This whole thing's very poorly named.
Let me double check and make sure that Raven is the Summer Maiden.
I think she's a Spring Maiden.
She might be. Yeah, I think she is the Spring Maiden.
So, what if they get even more on point with Summer, and she is the Summer Maiden?
Plausible.
Yeah, not impossible, just not likely. I still think it'd be funny if that was the case, and then just, like, for something out, like, they never cut to it, but just Ruby suddenly gets maiden powers, and she's like, what the fuck? And then you find out, like, oh yeah, Ruby's mom was the maiden, and then she died thinking of Ruby, and now Ruby has the powers.
I mean, the time we did a Ruby video, my theory was that Ruby has the powers all along.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's still Calavera who has the same powers, aside from Ruby's semblance, which Harriet does make a note of, because Harriet's like, I've seen other speed semblances, and yours is something very different.
Which, I mean, yeah, it is her turning into petals, but the way that Harriet talks about that is a little strange, because it doesn't...
We also did see Ruby literally split in half, or split into two different ones and go around a pillar.
Yeah, like she just becomes flower petals, which is...
She's Raven is the Spring Maiden. You're right.
Mm-hmm. That, plus, I think she can turn other people into petals, too, because she does it to Weiss and Penny in different times, respectively.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, Penny and Winter go to retrieve the Maiden's powers. Then we have the badass fight between
Penny,
Team RWBY and... Oh, I was talking about the fight between RWBY and...
Aesop's,
Yeah.
Sans Clover.
That was a really good fight. I liked a lot of what they did. I feel like Team RWBY kind of beat them a bit too effortlessly. Like, for them being the top, like, warriors of the city, it's like, yeah, they weren't really fighting together per se, but they were still fighting relatively close to each other.
I don't know if that's supposed to be Aesop's thing, is like they're best when they're a group of 5 or 4, or if Clover really counts for that much in the good luck department.
I mean,
but like, we know that Team RWBY can work well as in pairs, but you think Aesop should be 2. But Blake and Yang handled Elm and Vine not too easily, but not too difficultly. Weiss was doing well against Marrow, and RWBY was pretty on par.
Weiss almost fucking murders Marrow.
She does.
Like when she fucking does the gravity seal things and launches him towards all the ice spikes, it's like, holy shit, Weiss.
So I do like knowing that. I say Marrow's power only works on one person, but he did stay that entire crowd. I guess it's a direction.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think he can only use it on like a single target, but the target can be multiple things. Like he can't like
in a direction that he's looking at.
Yeah, I think he has to either point or look at it in order to affect it. And it seems like
Weiss and Soldier Boy are on opposite sides, so.
Yo.
Sorry, Night Boy. No,
Just imagining Weiss and Soldier Boy fighting. That's so stupid.
Best Night Boy. Great stand.
This is just a minor pet peeve of mine. I brought this up to you. I don't like how Weiss doesn't use her sword as a rapier. She uses it like as a slashing thing. But it's just personal pet peeves. So yeah, then we get like some of the cool fights. I think that it was cool that they paired up pseudo based on their abilities. Like, because Weiss kind of has a similar ability to Marrow's, where like they can both kind of control things from a distance. RWBY and Harriet obviously having the speed. Yang and Elm just being big, strong women. And then the rest. That was a good fight. Over a little too quick. But other than that, pretty good.
Yeah. It's almost good for it, too. I like war.
Yeah. Then while this is happening, Cinder is like trying to go get the Maiden's powers. Along with...
No, that's after.
Is that after that?
Well, because during this is also when Team Juniper is trying to find Oscar.
You're right.
And they're dealing with This is also the same time that Crow, Tyrion, and fucking Clover are all fighting.
Real quick, we did skip over the thing where Ironwood's like, that's an order, you guys are under arrest, and then fucking... That's when
RWBY flies over the table and communicates with everyone that he's fucking crazy and he's putting in martial law and trying to arrest us.
Yeah, and then he gets cut off. So yeah, then they try to find Oscar. His room's been ransacked. Then they find Neo, who has the lamp. And Neo looks like Oscar, and then Oscar just comes down the hallway and fucking punches her.
Yeah.
I think he takes the lamp back after that.
Yeah.
There would be a pretty cool Neo chase scene. I wish they would have used her changing between people a bit more than just the Nora thing.
Nora and the guard.
Yeah. But I
She
did like
used the Nora one to good effect, though.
Yeah, of her turning into Nora and then pouting in front of Ren and him just being like, "Oh, I can't hit her." So, again, him acting a bit weird, but this one made a bit more sense.
I just love him later running with all of them and he's just crying. Nora's just like, "What the hell happened?"
Nothing happened. Sorry, I just watched that scene this morning.
Good scene.
It's a fucking great scene. And so, they go. I think they end up losing Neo to pretty much a group of guards. Like, she disguises herself as a guard. She has a lamp, and then she just walks out.
Yeah.
So Neo and Cinder have the lamp now. I don't know if they know how to use it or not. I don't actually remember if they do.
Don't know.
So yeah, there's that. Then Cinder shows up with, trying to get the Maiden's powers, and a pretty good fight scene between Winter, Penny, and Cinder. Cinder has a couple good lines in there, where it's like, what was the one about the food?
You Atlas elites thinking that you're above everyone else, leaving everyone else to be, or no, sorry, you thinking you're all elite just makes everyone else hungry, and I'm not going to starve.
Yeah, I was like, okay, that's a pretty good line.
They had some really good lines this season. Like that one, there's a couple of other ones early on in the season. Just there's some really good and well delivered lines. None of them by Team RWBY though. All of them are pretty much from side characters or the villains.
Yeah. Then we have another really good fight while this is going on between. So Tyrion goes like fucking bananas. Well, sorry, I take it back. Clover gets a notification saying that Crow is going to be under arrest. And then this kind of distracts everyone for a bit, so Tyrion like kind of undoes his handcuffs and then crashes the.
No, actually, it was something. The fight starts. I think an arrow clips the bar that his handcuffs were attached to, and then he goes and chokes out and breaks the neck of the pilot.
And that was like one of my the scenes where like, oh my god, he's fucking crazy. Where they ask him, what are you doing? And he's sitting cross-legged on the dashboard wearing the pilot's hat. And then he just screams, the will of my goddess. And then the plane crashes.
The fucking Chad. I love him so much.
It's so fucking crazy. Then everyone but Robin wakes up conveniently.
Well, the pilot. But he ain't waking up.
Yeah, pilot's not waking up anytime soon.
Still waiting for the pilot boy from season 5. See if he'll be back.
And so a really, really good fight breaks out where it seems to be a three-way fight at first between Crow, Clover, and Tyrion. But then, like, Tyrion... Or no, was it Tyrion or Crow? No, Tyrion says... let's put him to bed, then we can settle our score. And so they team up Clover on their own Clover, to a degree. They both kind of realize that. And so they're like, all right, fuck it, we'll just fight him now, and then we'll dish out our shit later. And seeing Tyrion fight alongside somebody is really fucking cool. Because, like, he uses his tail to, like, prop up Crow as he's falling over and, like, boost him forward and shit. It's just.
I still think I love that fight, but I still think that part of that fight is stupid. When Crow's just like, "Yes, I will totally help this mass murderer who has tried to kill me before, to take out this person that I possibly like, who's just doing his job."
I agree, but I think they almost.
The fight was fantastic. Don't get me wrong.
They almost needed to cement in the fact that his want for revenge is greater than his like care for Clover, because it didn't really seem that way at first. Like, yeah, they brought it up a couple times, but it didn't really seem like a prominent thing. Yeah, and so I forget how I think Clover pretty much rips the weapon out of Crow's hand. And then they have like their moment where like, oh, heart to heart moment, and then Tyrion picks up Crow's sword and fucking stabs him in the back, stabs Clover in the back.
We get another 2D death scene.
Yeah,
from Team RWBY.
Which
I like the style break.
We don't see a lot of blood in RWBY, so that was kind of
that was a lot of blood.
It was a lot of blood.
To be fair, it was a great sword going through a man's chest, but
and it was
that was a lot of
it was
fun.
also a brilliant scene because Crow goes, "Oh my God, you killed him," and then Tyrion goes, "No, I think you killed him," and he throws his sword on the ground. It's like, oh shit. If Robin wasn't there, I would be like, okay, Crow is fucked. Like, there's no... But the fact that Robin's there, it's like, okay, he has a chance now of getting out. So, I don't know. But, that was a really good fight. I like that. Very...
Oh, no. Alright, I know what's gonna happen. Robin's gonna tell him, it's like, no, Crow didn't do it. He couldn't possibly done it. Holds his hand, but he thinks that he actually did kill him by proxy, so that it's gonna show up as the truth. And he says that he killed him.
That'd be interesting. I'd like that a lot more than him just getting off with it immediately. Then just make him a sadder person.
I look forward to seeing that scene.
Yeah, and that's pretty much where he ends off. He's just holding Clover's body. It's like the cops are coming. I think Tyrion just pieces out.
It's like, well, you know me and my luck with the authorities. Just starts running.
Which is funny because like it's not like Tyrion can get very far. It's an icy tundra, and there's like nowhere to hide whatsoever. It's like I feel like the cops could just very easily just be like, "Hey, I can see
Yep.
you."
Y'all never gonna catch me.
I'm a homicidal scorpion.
We literally have giant guns pointed at you right now.
Just a scorpion guy running through the tundra. Just like, should we even bother?
Yeah. Oh shit, he got murdered. Let's arrest the guy that's obviously grieving over his body. And then, yeah. So then after all that,
Then to the main fight.
yeah. Then the maiden fight. Freya just kind of was like, "Oh yeah, I'm the Winter Maiden," and then does like ice apocalypse shit while the fight's going on.
Yeah,
Pretty
she
much.
goes. There's Avatar. She does the Avatar stay when Aang first
Yeah.
was upset. Pretty much, but it's ice. I love the fact that it's so cold that it literally was like taking off freaking Winter's like clothes and shit. And she tried to enter into it. And she tried to put her hand, it's like, it's too freaking cold, and it's just like swiped away swaths of her freaking glove.
Yeah, and it pretty much forced Penny to be the one to go in there. Which I have my problems with, but I've semi found a way to circumvent that. And so, you know, that whole thing happens where the maiden is like, "Oh yeah, I was supposed to do something. I think it's my time. Hey, who are you? Oh, okay, you're Penny? Alright, here's my powers." And Penny becomes the new Winter Maiden.
Cinder then loses her shit.
Yeah.
Then gets her arm cut off again.
Yeah, poor Cinder. She
And
grows
then
it
Ruby
back this
shows
time, but...
Yeah, in a very horrifying way.
Yeah.
Jessica Neary did a really good job with the screams in this season. Good lord. And then Ruby shows up, eye blasts her a little bit. Cinder's like, peace out.
Yeah, I love the fact that Cinder's just like, "Nah, I'm not staying for this shit again. Fuck that."
I know that pain. I'm not going through that again.
I did think the scene where Cinder was like, Cinder and Penny were like flying at like through the air during that fight was pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
What if they're just T-posing against each other, just slamming into each other?
I love the part when Penny saves Winter. She's like, "Why are you? It's like, why are you saving me? I'm not important. You're supposed to be the next Winter Maiden. Of course you're important. Now get in there."
You are the head of the city's like, you're the city's right hand, more or less. You are very important.
Like literally, you are chosen to be this Winter Maiden. You are telling me to drop you right now. No, you idiot.
Yeah, so now Penny has powers. I don't like the fact that Penny has powers only because I don't get how it works, because I thought it would just go by semblance, or not semblance, by aura. But she has the aura of a man, and the powers can only be passed down to a woman. So it's obvious that the aura is not what the semblance checks. And so, like, so a robot counts. So, do other inanimate objects that count as girls count, or does there have to be like a degree of humanity to it? Like,
That sounds like a very loaded statement that you just put out there, but
Anthony, it's okay to admit that it's bad writing.
it's bad writing. It's just
It just does not make any sense on why an ancient magic from another universe can work on a robot.
yeah, it's I don't know. And it would have been fine if like the doctor was a woman or something, or
Well, would it even work with Aura? Because Aura wasn't in the old universe, I don't think.
this is true.
and I don't know. I have no idea then. It's just weird writing. And yeah, so there's that. So what then? Salem shows up. Is that the next thing that happens?
Yep. That's the last thing, because they all get in the plane.
Yeah. So giant fucking whale shows up.
With an aggressive amount of flying grim.
Yeah, and Salem is
Just-
just like T-posing on the top of it, asserting dominance over the whole town.
In her new outfit.
Yeah.
Of course you got it.
I like the idea that she had like the telecommunication thing with them, and then was like, "Oh, okay, they're there. I'm gonna go change, and then we're gonna go." Because like it happens like right after that.
What's also funny is because those two places I think are still fairly far apart. Also, Vacuo apparently was supposed to be the next place that was going to get hit, according to
Oh
Cinder.
yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, Cinder was like trying to be ahead of the game, but she wasn't.
Which I can't wait for us to go to Vacuo. I want Desert Island where everyone is lazy and just doesn't care.
No, I want freaking.
Sorry, not Desert Island, Desert Continent.
I want freaking Australia.
I want to see Team Coffee because that's where Team Coffee's supposed to be.
Perfect equality Australia, where there is no racism because everybody agrees that it's the worst country ever.
So good.
That is quite possibly my favorite explanation for anything ever.
Everyone gets along because everyone agrees that this place is just shit. And fucking, if you want to live here, you're stupid and are bold enough to live here. Yeah, you're fine. You're fine with all of us.
Yeah, that's just Australia.
God, we better see like an emu grim. It's just like, is that a grim? It hisses at you like, ah.
Fucking cassowary.
Um,
Walla Grim. Hey,
So-
what do they say? Beware the drop, Grim.
I got a bit of a theory kind of cooking because of the whale.
Besides the Pinocchio vibes.
Yeah, I mean, I think Penny might become a person. Like a real human.
Are you telling me that the main magic is going to turn her into a person?
Yes. Only because of the giant whale, because it's a little too on the nose at this
Does this
point.
mean that Pietro is also going to get eaten?
Yes.
Also, Pietro did have a giant whale in his office.
He did. And yeah, we noticed that he had a giant whale in his office in the back, and then what's his face? Weiss's dad had a bunch of wolves.
That's big wolves, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't actually know that Penny's whole thing was Pinocchio. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what the moment I saw that whale, I'm like, oh my god, it's just fucking Pinocchio at this point. So I'm really curious as if like maybe the staff of creation turns Penny into oh
Yeah,
my
there's one
god,
of
is that what that's gonna
yeah.
be? Where like it's a giant fairy lady and she's like, oh yes, you must wish upon a star, and then Penny's now a real person. Is that how this is gonna fucking go?
No, it can't. No, it. No,
Might.
no.
Look me in the
No,
eyes and tell
it
me
is
it's
not.
not.
It is not going to be that.
Might be
No.
that.
It's not. It's not.
But it might.
I mean, Penny has to be there when the Staff of Creation gets opened. She has to now.
She's the only way it can open.
Exactly, and maybe it's like Ironwood's like, hey, come open this for me. She's like, okay, and she opens it. And then Ironwood does some shady shit, and she's like, I don't like that. And then she just takes the staff, and she is now a person.
I can like just from the noises that Jared is making, I can hear the disbelief in him that he's like, oh my god, he's like he can't believe it's gonna be Pinocchio.
It has to be.
It's gonna be Pinocchio.
Penny
hurts
cannot die right now.
This hurts more than the Seven Dwarfs realization we had earlier.
Penny has held up her death flags, cashed them in, and is now death flagless. She is one of the few characters I am confident in saying she is not going to die anytime soon.
Real person immediately gets killed. Immediately.
Fucking hell.
Just Salem, whip, dead. Penny urges to Ruby, then gets the power.
Oh yeah, and then Ironwood did a fucking nothing person, or the game's been rigged from the start kid and shot Oscar and...
Ah yes, Volume 7, where a man shoots a child.
Volume 8, where a robot girl becomes a real girl.
And a disabled man gets eaten by a whale.
Watch his chair grow rockets or something on the back of it. He's like, I got this, and he just takes off.
Throw rockets.
See you later. See you later, losers.
And then just immediately eaten by the whale.
Not even transforms into rocket. No, grows rocket.
Oh my god.
Just like, you know what? This city's effed. I'm out of here. He just blasts off, and then the whale just gulps him out of the air.
Oh no, I'm telling you, Maria's going to fly that plane into that whale. Already gonna tell you that.
Yeah, so I'm wondering if season 8 is going to start with the whale fight, or if they're just going to take the city and leave. Because Ironwood wants to literally just take the city and go.
Take the city and push it somewhere else.
And the last thing I heard was and this is still hearsay since nothing has been announced, but I heard that Volume 8 was supposed to take place over 2 days. I think.
What?
Yeah.
They're just shortening the time span. Fucking season 10 is going to be an hour.
We still get 20. We get 3 hours out of 1 hour. That's because we skip between 3 different groups.
They Dragon Ball Z it.
We just been getting shorter and shorter time spans.
Yeah.
Which one would benefit if someone fights that whale, though? They're gonna do the run along the big enemy and slash it as you go along.
Oh, absolutely, they have to.
Either that, or Ruby's gonna put the scythe in and then run while carving through it.
Yeah, Dude, I wonder, since you know how that one city had the giant mech, are we gonna get a giant mech fight?
That would be pretty sick, though.
Ironwood just launches a bunch of missiles onto the whale, and they're all mechs.
The only variable that I see that stops Team RWBY from fighting this is Salem.
Yeah.
She is an imposing of enough force and the obvious final boss of the series that I don't think that they're going to directly fight her unless she fucks off somewhere else.
Oh! I just realized something. So you remember how they said that Watts was dead, right? You remember how they said that he was supposedly dead from the Paladin project?
Yeah.
I think that now explains why Roman was able to control the Paladins in Volume 2. Because Watts would have been able to manipulate the mechs to be able to function for them.
Huh. Interesting.
Because he was on that project, and that was supposedly the project that he died on. So he would have had the information for the Paladins.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Interesting.
That's because I know that they kept talking about Watts couldn't really get into the new Atlas stuff because it had been remade after he was gone. But he could still get into Mantle stuff because that hadn't changed, because of course you don't update the lower cities infrastructure, security. Why would you, idiots? But yeah, because the only other tech that they've messed around with was the paladins, and then I don't remember what they call the robot cop ones. I don't know if they're also paladins, but I think paladin's just the big mech thing.
Mm-hmm.
But that also could have been at the same time, so that maybe explains why Watts was able to control those before he was able to get into the big system of Atlas.
Okay, so with this and everything all considered, what do you think the final fight against Salem is going to be? Because they're probably not going to fight her this time, or if they do, Salem's just going to wipe the floor with them. How do you think that final fight's going to go?
It's not, at least in my thought, it's not going to be like an Avengers Endgame thing, where it's like, oh, suddenly backup. I think it's just going to be...
That'd be pretty cool, though.
Gathering up as many people as they've gotten. Like, this is clearly like going after Vacuo and maybe back to Mistral.
Mm-hmm.
But like, probably at full Ozpin, Oscar's gone. They gather up everyone that they've gone. They get the White Fang, what's there. They get all these people. They get as many people as they can. They just storm the Dragon continent that totally isn't housing a villain or anything. And it's just them charging across like the Grim pools, waves and waves of Grim, just people and Grim just colliding. The small group of, probably Ruby, Juniper, Crow if he's still alive, and whoever else is important at the time. Probably getting up to the main castle. If some of the other villains are alive, there's villain fights along the way. I'm hoping that somewhere in there's an Emerald Redemption arc. Hopefully Cinder's dead by now, but... I don't see Cinder making it to the final fight.
No, I don't.
I don't see her. Neo, maybe. I doubt it, but maybe.
I could see Neo potentially having some kind of either redemption or getting a vendetta.
Redemption arc, I think, is a bit much. Emerald, I think, would maybe have... Emerald's on a weird middle ground where she could get a redemption arc if she realizes that, oh, wow, this person I really like is pretty toxic. Yeah. Also, she doesn't care about me. Oof.
Yeah. So...
Is Mercury to the same degree? Because they seem to be getting along a bit better, at least from the last thing that we saw of them.
I think a cool fight, a cool final scene against Salem would be is they're at the final door that Ozpin, did it, whatever the fuck he did with it, to where Salem won't go anywhere near it.
It'd be Vacuo, then.
No,
The last door is Vacuo.
No.
Oh, no, sorry, Veil.
Yeah, Veil. I'm like, no, the Veil door. It's going to be like Team RWBY. They have the sword or whatever of destruction. One of them is a maiden. RWBY has her silver eyes, and then somebody else is powered up, probably Weiss. And then they have all the teams fighting Grim while they go fight Salem. Probably the one who's a maiden is the one that can unlock the door or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think an endgame-esque fight would be kind of interesting, where they just call in everybody that they know.
Yeah. Oh, also, I can't wait for Vacuo, because that probably means we'll get more clothes changes.
Yeah, I don't think they can wear those outfits in a...
No.
Okay, so here's my thought on the whale fight, how that's gonna go. So they're gonna all fight the whale. Some stuff's gonna happen, and Penny's gonna die, and then she's gonna die probably right next to Kurt, the scientist dude. And he's like, oh, who you thinking about right now? She's like, you know what? I think that Cordovan girl from the other city is pretty cool. And then she comes in as the Winter Maiden in her mech. And she's like, I'll take care of this. So she's blasting ice out of the mech.
I was with you up until Cordona.
This is some AU shit.
Because in my brain, I thought, because when you said that, Penny's gonna die close to Pietro, I thought you were gonna say Pietro gives up the last of his aura to keep her going. I was not expecting Cordona.
Yeah, Cordova comes in. She's in she built the mech again. The mech's made out of ice now because she has ice power. So she's now. but it's bigger now. It's even bigger.
This is fucking
She like
super
wrestles the whale.
Excuse me.
I thought you were gonna make a Dio versus the whale reference.
And then the scientist guy's like, for penny, and he flies, and the whale eats him. Cause you gotta have that you gotta have the Pinocchio thing in there.
That man's getting eaten by that whale.
Yeah, that man's getting eaten by that whale, no matter what.
I'm putting much more money on Calavera flying the plane into the whale. We'll go in through its weakness. She flies in through the blowhole.
You bringing up the fact of Penny getting hurt, I think Penny might get hurt, and then somebody might use the Staff of Creation to like save her and turn her into a real girl.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be Ruby then, or it's us.
Yeah.
Ruby makes the most sense. If it's Ozpin, it's Oscar, but it's Ozpin.
It's gonna be weird.
It was like, oh, Penny's dead. I'll give the rest of my aura to her, but it'll kill me. No, sir. We have Staff of Creation. We'll use this to bring Penny back. Stab.
Or if the powers are somehow aura based, the powers just go to him instead.
He's the Winter Maiden now.
It's like, oh, would you look at that? And he's just fucking shooting ice beams while flying around in his mecha wheelchair.
He flies like Iron Man.
And then he just gets eaten by the whale.
Hold on, Anthony. Was he in the plane?
I don't remember, actually. Fuck, if Calavera dies, because, oh my god, if she flies the plane into the whale, and, like, it eats him and her, because, like, I don't know. Calavera's kind of served her purpose. I don't want to see her die, but I don't.
Pre-flexes her way out of the plane.
She does like a, just let me imagine her. She's like flying, like she starts nose diving the plane into the whale, and like his wheelchair is just like going around the freaking plane.
Oh, no.
Like he can't. Then she flies over the whale, but like tips a little bit, so his wheelchair rolls out of the door. He's like, no wait.
No, she's eating like mixed nuts. And she's just like screaming on the radio while she's flying over it. And she like drops a little bit. She's like, "Oh no!" And then she leans over, tips the plane, and he rolls out.
Yeah, I was like, "Oh no!" And then you just get a long, like a really far shot. You just see a tiny speck of him go, and then the whale opens its mouth and then closes.
This is the dumbest and most beautiful thing.
I can imagine Salem looking across the whale, just like, what are they doing? As they just fly into the blowhole, just, oh.
It just gets caught, like, bloop. Oh. Oh, God.
They fly the plane at Salem.
She just like, what do you know? Just like, just pushes them away.
What are you
stop.
No, what are you doing?
Quit being a nerd. Opening and ending. Definitely the most anime opening they've ever had.
Yes.
What was that one shot where they throw like a rock at like the hologram of the guy and then it becomes like Ironwood or something?
Yeah.
Oh no, it goes from Ironwood to Jacques.
Yeah.
Or the other way around. It's one of the two.
Yeah, a little too on the nose.
God.
Oh, yeah, I forgot this one was super anime. I remember the first time I saw it, I was like, this is just anime.
Yeah. The ending song does fit in very well, because it's saying fear, and this entire freaking thing is about fear.
Yeah.
Especially Ironwoods, because there's literally the line in the song, it's like, oh, if you see a stranger, will you feel proud or betrayed? He's definitely feeling betrayed, I think.
I think Ironwood is going to die at some point, but I don't know if it'll be next season.
If he does die, it's going to be in a redemption.
It'll be in a redemption against probably Salem.
It'll either be redemption or he's not going to get redeemed and he will be killed before he kills someone else.
Yeah.
I don't see that one happening, but that one's like the second place option.
There's no one else who I see him going down to aside from Salem, or like somebody like Ruby shooting him. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, if I had to put money, probably he'll die to Salem.
Yeah. But I don't think it'll be
Or-
this next season. I don't think it will.
I'd say, or Salem will leave and he'll just be mentally broken and crazy and more.
That would be just depressing, just him being permanently like a broken, crazy mess.
She just shows up, haha, see what I could have done to you, leaves. And then he's just left being like, what the hell?
At least they didn't give him like a fucking tragic, like, oh, my wife and child are dead thing.
Not yet.
I mean,
No.
I hope they don't, because that would have come out of literally fucking nowhere.
Him and Glenda had a baby out of wedlock, but she miscarried. They were on the same team, right?
Maybe? I don't know.
I'm trying to remember.
That's somebody we need to see more of. I miss Glinda.
Yeah, Miss Glenda. She's still presumably back at Vale, putting everything back together.
Yeah. In a world with no magic, her semblance is magic.
I can put things back together.
Yeah. So, ending was alright. Nothing terribly notable. Slow song. It was alright.
It's probably one of the more metal-ish songs that they've had for an ending. Well, I mean, technically we normally get two ending songs. Normally, like, it's a slow one and then a kind of a more like a normal one of their songs. Because they had both Fear, which I think was played first, and then they had, or no, sorry, Until the End, which is the slow one, and then they had Fear towards the end of it. So we normally get two songs for the credits. Also, the speech. We didn't even talk about Ozpin's speech about Fear towards the end of it.
Yeah.
Because that was literally like the last thing we left off on was Oscar launching out of the bottom of Atlas and in his bubble.
Which is, like, is that magic, or is that just, like...
Is that his semblance? Is that his aura? Is that Ozpin? We don't know.
I think it's Ozpin's semblance, but I mean, I don't know how the fuck that works.
Yeah. I am kind of glad that Oz is back.
Same.
He chose an interesting time to do it, but yeah.
It's kind of evident that he's been watching this entire time.
Yeah. Oh, well, I mean, of course he's been watching this whole time. What do you think? He's just gone into, like, catatonics just to hibernate and veg for a bit, leaving the 14-year-old.
Just wake and bake for a little bit.
Yo, how many times has Ozpin seen like Oscar just jack it? You know.
Who is the youngest? Yeah, who's the youngest person Ozpin has gone into? Because the younger they are, the worse it becomes.
Man, it's like I hate getting put in teens. It's just like they just so horny. They just jack it all the time.
Gotta go through
The
fucking
other-
puberty again.
I did too. Let me have a turn. Let me have a go on the joystick. Sorry, Jarrett.
I don't know. I just lost my train of thought there.
Yeah. Anything else we need to bring up? How out of all of the seasons, how would you rate this one, like compared to the other ones? Like, do you think it's the best? Do you think it's one of the worst? Do you think it's like?
I would say it's definitely. Let's see. We got top 7. I'd say it's top 3. They went with a lot of different things, and I think it worked.
Yeah.
I still think 3 and 6, 6 or 5.
What scenes are you thinking about?
3 is the obvious one because it's literally when just everything falls apart.
plots.
I'm trying to remember. I think it was 6 that I said was like equal to 3 in the content.
I want to say so, but I don't remember.
I want to say 6. But like 7 was just different, and I liked the different. The
Yeah.
music was different. The feel of it was different. Yeah, we got back to some of the more of the same points that we've been to with, being sad, but it wasn't sad the entire time. There were false hopes. There was actual happiness for a little bit. There was something different. We weren't on a journey to get somewhere. We started it off being here, and then it was just meeting more people, getting more lore, having something different.
I'm really hoping that the next season continues with this trend of it being different.
Yeah. I will accept if it's about the same as this, but I'm fine with every couple of seasons changing something.
Yeah.
That's why I look so forward to Vacuo, just because Vacuo sounds so different from everything that we've dealt with before. Like, yeah, it sounds shady and shitty, but that's what I like about it.
It's not going to be a bunch of pampered people being like, oh no, the Grimm are attacking. It's going to be like a bunch of really badass people be like, oh shit, they're attacking. I'm eating lunch. All right, let's do this.
All right, who's up for a Grim salad?
Like, RWBY's not going to have to defend the city. It's just going to be the town being like, all right.
Just imagine them as that like picture of that like the black and white picture of the guy with a mustache without his shirt on, just like getting ready to fight.
I know what picture you're talking about. The boxer.
Yeah, but I think I actually do think that this one's pretty good. Yeah, this like might be one of my favorite, just because it has this civil unrest stuff that I liked from the 3rd season, and
yes.
like probably some of the best fights. It's just like I feel like RWBY's on the cusp. I don't love RWBY. I have mixed feelings about it because the writing's like, but I feel like it's on the cusp of potentially being really good.
Yeah.
So like this could be like the bell curve, but it's too soon to see the curve. When you like zoom in on a chart like really close and you can't really tell if it's like curving or if it's just like what you're talking about. So like I mean it could just go down and stagnate, or it could just keep going up, and I'm curious to see which one it does.
As am I.
I'm interested to see how. I'm so interested to see how far they will take things, because like the end of season 3 is definitely the mark where they're like, all right, this is now going from purely kids to it's changing with an audience.
Yeah.
And we've kind of been more and more on like almost Game of Thrones level, at least with the murders and stuff. Like they have been ramping up, the more crazy stuff has been happening. I don't think we've hit another spike dramatic change like that yet again. But I'm interested to see if they'll do that.
You know what I want to see? I legit want to see them kill a main character, like not at the end, but a couple seasons before the end. Like we just have a couple seasons with one main character dead.
I don't think they can kill anybody in Team RWBY, but I think somebody in Team Juniper, I think absolutely.
It would be Ren.
I don't know. I think John.
If I had to say, out of Team Juniper, out of the 3 that are left, the one that has the most death flags for me is definitely Ren.
Yeah, Red. I feel like Jean kind of conquered like his problems, so he's like, he's got more survivability than Ren does. Unless you're like one of those people who believe it's like, well, he did his character arc, he's dead now.
I mean, unless we can, I like that we all kind of semi-agree that Nora's like pretty much completely safe in that aspect.
She's the meme character.
Yeah.
She's the much-needed comic relief. It's pretty much her and Yang. Occasionally RWBY.
Well, all right. I feel like that's a good place to wrap it up. thank you for joining us. You can find links to everything in the link dump down below, along with our Twitters and other social medias if you feel like following us. As always, we post twice a month. We'll occasionally have a special episode, so be sure to stick around for that. Be sure to enjoy Season 8. Should be coming out within the week of listening to this, if you listen to this when it comes out. So, until then, bye, and thanks for checking us out.
Bye, Internet.
Have a good time.
Bet on it.
God damn it!